Let's talk about fractions. One of my favorite ways to talk about fractions is to talk about money. Let's start with a square. And we'll take this square and divide it in half. Now we'll fill in and identify one of two parts of this square. And we can write that as a fraction 1 over 2. And the fraction 1 over 2 represents one of two parts. So this is our fraction 1 over 2. Please do not call this 1/2. Please do not call this 1/2. This fraction is called 1/2. Let's take our square and this time divide it into quarters. We'll fill in one of the quarters and identify one of 4 parts. And we can write that as a fraction 1 over 4. And the fraction 1 over 4 represents one of 4 parts. So this is our fraction 1 over 4. We can call this 1/4. We can call this 1/4. Fractions represent a form of division. Any number a over any number b is equal to a divided by b. Notice my division sign looks like a little fraction. Here is $1. Here is 1 penny. 1 penny equals 1 cent. 100 cents equals $1. Because it takes 100 pennies to make $1, 1 penny is 1/100th of $1. Here is 1 nickel. 1 nickel is equal to 5 cents. Because it takes 5 cents to make a nickel, 1 penny or 1 cent is 1/5 of 1 nickel. $20 nickels equals $1. Because it takes 20 nickels to make a dollar, 1 nickel is 1/20th of $1. Here is 1 dime. 1 dime is equal to 10 cents. Because it takes 10 cents to make 1 dime, 1 cent or 1 penny is equal to 1/10 of 1 dime. 10 dimes equals $1. Because it takes 10 dimes to equal $1, 1 dime is 1/10 of $1. Here is 1/4. 1/4 is equal to 25 cents. Because it takes 25 cents to equal a quarter, 1 penny or 1 cent is 1/25th of 1/4. 4 quarters equals $1. Because it takes 4 quarters to equal a dollar, then 1/4 is 1/4 of $1. 1/4 is 1/4 of a dollar. 3 quarters, or 75 cents, equals 3/4 or 3/4 of a dollar. So these are equivalent fractions. And let's talk about how all of these fractions are equal to 1/2. Here is a $1/2. And 2 $1/2 equals $1. So $1/2 or 50 cents is 1/2 of $1. So let's talk about equivalent fractions. First, let's review. 1 penny or 1 cent is 1/100th of $1. That's because it takes 100 cents to equal $1. If we take half of those pennies, we have 50 cents. And 50 cents is equal to $1/2. So 50 1/100ths is equal to 1/2. Notice that 50 is 1/2 of 100. And the cross product, 50 times 2 is equal to 1 times 100. We know they're equivalent. A nickel is 1/20th of $1. And that's because it takes 20 nickels to equal $1. If we take half of those nickels, we have 10 nickels equals 50 cents. 10 nickels equals $1/2. So 10 20ths is equal to 1/2. Notice that 10 is 1/2 of 20. And notice the cross product. 10 times 2 is equal to 1 times 20. So we know those are equivalent fractions. 1 dime or 10 cents is 1/10 of $1. That's because it takes 10 dimes to equal $1. If we take half of those dimes, we have 5 dimes. 5 dimes equals 50 cents. 5 dimes equals $1/2. So 5/10ths is equal to 1/2. Notice that 5 is 1/2 of 10. And notice the cross product. 5 times 2 is equal to 1 times 10. So we know these are equivalent fractions. 1/4, 25 cents, is 1/4 of $1. That's because it takes 4 quarters to equal $1. If we take half of those quarters, we have 2 quarters equals 50 cents. 2 quarters is 1/2 of $1. So the fraction 2 over 4, or 2 quarters, is equal to 1/2. Notice that 2 is 1/2 of 4, and the cross product, 2 times 2, is equal to 1 times 4. So we know these are equivalent fractions. Hopefully you understand how 50 1/100ths is equal to 10 20ths, which is equal to 5 10ths, which is also equal to 2 4ths. All of these fractions are equal to the reduced fraction 1/2.